Hello everyone and welcome to Purpose Built with myself, Swamgela Dial. We continue with the Awakening series and specifically Mastered Pieces, and this is part 2 of our journeying back together. So in the last episode, we ended at the part where I was like, okay, I'm cool with us getting back together. Was I open with on the conversation? Was it's like, let's just
You said you were open to
the conversation.
Yeah.
So basically shortly after the us meeting for that last coffee date, I was going to Cape Town for a solo trip, and I'll do an episode on why I took that trip and what it meant to me. But that trip also gave me time to reflect and think about a lot, and one of the things that I thought about in that trip was how I had kind of been out of the dating scene for a while. There were a few people that were trying to get with me, but nothing materialized, and so I felt
Buffon. We magnet.
Anyway, so I felt this would be a good time to go back into the dating space, and
With a dollar.
because it was a decline, and because we had built, I think, solid friendship. It didn't feel like it would be like work.
So for now, read microwave.
I wanted simple.
Microwave.
No, not microwave, guys. Not microwave. But I wanted simple, and I wanted simple because I was just so tired of working hard at relationships and them not materializing. Yes, and so I thought this was gonna be easier. Well, it wasn't, but I thought it was gonna be easier because we had been together before, and yeah.
There was flames.
Yeah.
So then, you thought it was gonna be easier. You went to Cape Town. You were like,
I went to Cape Town. Then I decided.
Then you regrouped, and you were like, yeah, I know what I want.
Yeah, I felt it's worth the try again. Yeah.
And then when you tried, what happened?
So he came to pick me up at the airport when I returned, and that's when I think we made it official that
I don't agree.
What?
I saw pick up Jay's official.
No, like you picked me up. Then I went to your place, ne? Right? Yeah. And then
And then that was that.
Yeah.
We went forward.
And then it was just like, yeah. Did we talk about it? I think we did talk about it because we even spoke about it while I was in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
We spoke about it. So
when you landed, you were like, there's nothing more to speak of. There's nothing more to speak of.
Yo, but also we had been speaking.
Yeah, the speaking part was quite draining.
Yo, seems in the tent, man.
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, that's how we basically got back together, and then
you fell pregnant.
Yeah, but it was great. Like getting back together was great.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it really was good.
Until we found out that you were pregnant again.
Yeah.
And then it was flames again.
Yeah.
So it was like a repeat of what had previously happened.
Yeah.
But at a different stage in our lives. Because there wasn't that thing the pressure of society and everything else wasn't as much as it was back then. But yeah, it still showed us flames.
It did.
It showed us flames. And the thing was, we when we thought about it, it was like, how does this happen again? And it looked like it was
The
happening
same thing.
the same
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
because we had just gotten back together now. So technically speaking, we just started dating, like previously when we just started dating.
And maybe it's important to note that we found out we were pregnant. Gandhi, I was already a month into the pregnancy. Like, we found out that because we thought it's only like a few weeks. And then we found out when we went to the gynae that actually it's been, I think we were at 8 weeks when we went for the checkup or whatever. And yeah, the struggle was real, because I think we both were shocked and we were not prepared. And I think that's the thing that you have kept on saying, that until you may speak about stuff, né? But until you're given the test of whatever,
Yeah.
that's when you can prove that you've overcome, or you're on the other side.
And that was the reality for us.
Yeah.
That as much as we say we spoke and spoke and spoke like for years, literally years, when we got back together, right, it showed practically how much healing we went through and how the healing helped. Because when we got into the situation, same situation, it almost defeated us.
Yeah, almost.
It almost defeated us.
Really.
Because we were at a point where I was the financial head and I'm like, the numbers aren't working.
Yeah.
Right? And because now the numbers aren't working, now I'm just like in this bubble.
Yeah.
And in my head I'm trying to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And we fell for not speaking.
Yeah.
We went into that not speaking zone again, because now I'm trying to figure it out in my own way.
And you're not saying that this is what my issue is.
What's stressing me out. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out. And you, on the other hand, you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on with this guy. And
but I was just like,
your emotions are also all over the place.
But
so
I was also like, because I remember you wouldn't necessarily say that this thing bothers me, but you'd constantly be talking about, we need to budget for this, we need to figure out how much this is going to be, we need to. And I'm not, like, naturally I'm not that kind of person. I'm not, and not that I don't plan for things, but I've always allowed for God to prevail, ne? So I plan,
we were different in that sense. Very
so I
different.
plan, but I leave room for, if God decides to change the plan, then, you know, I'm not disappointed. So my thing was, it's going to work itself out. I don't know how, and it also doesn't make sense to me, but I'm just like, it's gonna work itself out, because I've been in places where I felt, I'm trapped, and God worked it out. So I was just like, it's gonna work itself out. Yeah. And I didn't want to self-punish as well, because I had done that before and for a long time. So that was another thing for me.
Yeah, so you can imagine for someone that, like, my faith wasn't at the level her faith was at that time, and saying to me it's gonna work itself out, I felt like that does not provide any comfort because right now on paper there's no way this is gonna work out. And and so it just was stressing for me. It was very stressing. And then in that, I started shutting down.
Yeah.
And in me shutting down, it felt like a replay of everything. Then you obviously felt like you crowding me, you're a burden.
Yeah. I felt that clearly I am the problem, ne? And I guess also that comes from my background, ne? That the first thought that comes when a person shuts me out is clearly I'm a problem. So I got into that I am the problem, and I felt the best way is just to give you space. And for me, because at that point in time, by the time I was pregnant, we were always together. Yeah, we were always together. So I decided, and it was actually one small thing that triggered me so much, where I was just like, I cannot do this, right? And I decided, okay, I'm leaving, and if this relationship is not going to work out, I need my sanity to go through this pregnancy. And yeah, it felt like the world was falling apart. And then I went through oh my gosh, how could I do this again? You know, how could we do this again? How could we be in the same space again years later? Also, when we've done so much work internally, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one thing that was funny was that I don't know.
I know what you're gonna say.
What we were speaking about, but we're speaking on the phone. So I was at work at that time, I think. So she calls me, but we had a conversation. I can't remember about what. And then she's like, clearly God wants me to carry your seed. If nothing else, if the relationship is not supposed to work, I'm just supposed to carry your child.
For whatever reason. That's exactly how I felt. I felt it feels impossible that the same thing would be at play in our lives in exactly the same way after all of the work we've done, and like we are finding ourselves acting and reacting the same way, right? And I was just like, maybe it's just God's plan for us to have a baby together for whatever reason he had. But I think in retrospect, what I realized was that having Uluhle was a need for both of us, because at the back of our minds we constantly had questions of, would we ever be able to be parents or kind of have a clean slate. And I feel for me personally, it was God's way of restoring insecurities that I had, fears that I had about having a baby, and for God to show that his grace is sufficient and his grace still applies, you know. So, and
I think he knew that in order to get these two to finally just come to their senses, I need to intervene in a way whereby, because of the way we grew up, we sort of had the same principles in terms of having a family and having a child, that we don't want to make the same mistakes or fall into
or have our children have the same issues that we've grown up having.
So it was one of those that when Uluhle came, it was okay, we sort of need to sort things out, because we both have this thing whereby we wanna basically break the cycle and the patterns of the past patterns that had occurred in our...
And I think it's important to note that one of the things that we realized was that love was not gone between the two of us, ne? But we were just struggling to merge who we were as individuals, how you deal with things and how I deal with things. So our mending of the relationship was not solely because we wanted to be parents together. Because I think I went through a season where I was like, if it means I have to be a single mother, right, and we have to learn how to co-parent, then that's okay, right? And I think you also went through...
Yeah, I was okay with...
Where it was just like, if that's the case, then that's what we'll do. But because beyond the issues of how we were raised and what we desired our family to become, we also had the thing of we still love each other, but we are struggling. Remember, I kept on saying we keep speaking over each other. Yeah. So I think that was the resolution, because I don't want people to feel or think that like we were like, you make a relationship work just for done. Yeah. Like it wasn't that. We were okay that if I sebenze, and then we'll just be parents to Oluhle. And I think that was grace again for us being able to recognize that there is still love, and the issue is not that we don't love each other. We just don't know how to love each other and be present for each other. Yeah, and that's what we had to learn.
Yeah, but it was also, I think, it was that whole adjustment thing, and it wasn't easy because of how we've gotten to where we are.
Yeah.
Because you've taken a whole different journey, which is in depth and all of that, and I took my own journey. And then when we came together, it was like you want to deal with things the educated way. Educated way. Because
You need
I'll tell you. So the hardest thing about dating someone who is a life coach, a speaker, author, and all those stuff is that...
And an over-analytical person, I think.
Yeah. Are you?
When it comes to emotional stuff, not
everything. Not everything else.
Yeah.
So,
like when it comes to, I don't know, it's a weird thing, because when it comes to, like, for example, numbers and stuff, I'm just
couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, but when it comes to mental issues, emotional issues, spiritual issues, I'm very analytical, and that's why we're different, because you are more analytical with numbers and all of the,
practical stuff.
I don't know about practical, but
so as I was saying, the hardest thing is that whatever argument you get into, you have to have your ducks in a row. That time now, I just want to argue, I just feel like I'm upset, and it doesn't matter whether it comes out this way or that way. I just want to say what I want to say. Hey, now you have to go to the drawing board, and you're like, okay, is this point valid? Okay, how is this point gonna come through and whatnot? Literally, before I say anything, I have to restructure my whole argument so that I can present my argument, and my argument to be heard, because it's a different story now. Because you just start arguing, and you just say your point already. Miss Emotional Analytics whatnot comes in, and she's like, no, but your feeling you can't feel this, and then it goes, and you're like, but it doesn't matter, that's how I feel. And that was one of the hardest things, and I think it was one of the things that we clashed most of the time, and it led to us not speaking. Because I used to feel like
There's no point.
There's no point. What's the point of me saying what I want to say based on how I feel when someone's gonna tell me it doesn't make sense that you would feel this and then next minute you're gonna feel that. And then I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's okay. I'll just get over it somehow. And that caused more problems than anything else, because by the time we got to a point where we spoke about anything, it was a whole load. It was a truckload that you had to offload. And yeah, it was recipe for disaster.
Yeah, so guys, this thing of being told that I don't fight in an educated manner, ne?
Okay, you're fighting.
I don't fight in an educated manner. I call it education. But one of the things that I learned was that it's important for you to process your thoughts and your feelings before you go to a person, ne? Because while the feelings are still raw, sometimes the way you articulate yourself, ne, might actually not come across as the way, not that it's supposed to come across in a particular way, but it doesn't land well with the other person because of the way you say it, not because the feeling is not valid. Ne? And I think maybe what I struggled to communicate was that it's not that your feelings, in fact not maybe, because that's what I discovered, that I was struggling to communicate with you that it's not that your feelings are invalid or they don't matter. It's how you're bringing them to me. Because you need to understand that this is how I process, just like I need to understand that this is how you process. And I think that's where we were constantly missing each other, because I was trying to say to you, when you come to me already in a fighting mode, I don't know how to receive that, because I generally just don't know how to fight. Yeah, so you need to come at me with, this is what I'm feeling and this is because of this. Then I can sit and listen. But because you were your way of fighting, no, I'm not shouting, but yeah, and I think that's what you needed to learn. Like, for example, now if we're having an argument, you would say, can we talk? And for me, that clicks. I need to calm down, and then I'm able to listen to you. But when you already come at me with like, why would you do that or whatever, I can't. I don't know how to receive it. So yeah, that's one of the things we had to learn.
That was one of the biggest things we needed to
learn.
Sure.
Because guys, it's a love language thing, ne? If you are unable to meet your partner at the level that they at, no matter the dimension, then you miss it. Because there are things where, for example, because we were in different spaces spiritually, ne, I knew that I could not impose certain things to you or certain patterns to you. Like, if I pray at 3 a.m., I can't impose that on you and say, now you must wake up at 3 a.m. and pray at 3 a.m. because that works for me.
Yeah.
Ne? And I had to learn that I can't teach you that. You must get into it on your own, right? That's me meeting you at the point of your need. So it's different things, like even.
But when I not far with sport, I
yes.
didn't get a chance.
Your pussies.
So I didn't get a chance.
Because remember, because physically, so we exercise together now, and we'll do a video of how that started. But physically, I've never been a person who, like, guys, physical stuff is difficult for me. Like, exercise is just, it's a lot of work. Running, I love. But if you have to do what's endurance, strength, cardio ngezazinto ezazinto zine push-ups ne sit-ups ne walks dons. Like, I hate them. And on top of hating them, my body just does not allow me to do the things the way they need to be done.
If you hate it already, your body is not gonna do it then. So
But
it's not your body, it's your mind.
Guys, just, yeah. So he had to learn that because he's like physically Usive can push himself, ne? And he needs no motivation. Like, in fact, exercise is the motivation. If he's gonna wake up and get out of bed and exercise, for him it's like, let's do it.
It's like you waking up and praying.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's exactly the same. So because he needs absolutely no motivation for it, and he's done it for so many years, it's easy for him to do. So when we were now getting into exercising together, he had to get to the level that I was at, that says, I'm not able to do these things right now. And also, you also have to understand that it is also a mental battle for me, you know, and an emotional battle as well, because I just given birth and my body is just not in the place that it was before I got pregnant, and there's so many changes. So you had to get to my level to meet me at the point of my need.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's literally how we've made it work, that with different things.
What I can say though, with all the educated arguments that I speak about, you know, it's changed a lot of things, and it's helped, because now, you know, we only have arguments that are really an issue.
Yeah.
So there's certain things where you feel A, B, and C, but when you really look at it and you look into it, you're like, yeah, I'm just being extra. Yeah, I'm just being extra.
Yeah.
You know. So it helps to actually
do
go
the
back.
educated thing.
Yeah, and you just evaluate by,
Is it worthy?
Lena, is it a fight worth fighting, or is it just something that I'm just being extra? Because sometimes you find that you're gonna argue about something you've never communicated before.
Yeah.
It's just based on expectations and assumptions.
I can't wait for love unscripted conversations.
Yeah. So yeah.
See, guys, so my educated fighting, whatever that is, has helped. Because here we are.
Yeah, it helped in the long run, but at that point in time I was like, and these but yeah, it's helped us, and we've grown like so much during this period, and yeah, it's all God's grace.
It really is all God's grace.
There's a lot of things we didn't plan. As much as when we had Luhle, she wasn't planned, and a lot of things had to then change. You start thinking differently now, because it's no longer just about you. You can't just think for yourself, and so you just learn to deal with things, and you don't put things aside and postpone them, because I think we've learned the hard way that doing that, postponing things and thinking you're going to sort it out later,
or even thinking that certain patterns are going to change if you just watch, let someone, if you just like, guys, umdo is not going to change. And if you are unable to communicate with someone and say, if you don't get to this point where I need you to be in our relationship, then we need to consider whether this relationship should go forward or not. If you cannot have that conversation with your partner, because we had to go digging at the wounds that we've had or the painful things that we have experienced. But it's conversations that were uncomfortable but necessary for us to get to the point of growth. And yeah, that's what our journey has been. And we'll talk about, I think, with Love Unscripted Conversations, which are going to start from the next episode, we will talk about relationships, expectations, sex, spirituality, all of that stuff, money. Yeah.
Just one more thing I wanted to say is that it's not like the fact that we're here now is definitely not hunky-dory or happy. Like it still is work. It's not just it was,
and it's
work.
what I didn't want.
It still is work. Yeah.
Guys, and I think that's probably the one thing that led me to saying I'm not doing this, because I was just like, yeah, but it still is work. Sorry.
Yeah, it still is work, and the one thing though that has helped is that we now tackle things way differently from when we used to. So now it's easier to see a problem and deal with the problem.
And deal with the problem, not attacking one another. Yeah, because the attack thing.
Too personal.
Yeah, like we really had to work at the attacking thing, because I think also we don't realize the damage that we cause in other people when we use their weaknesses as a leverage just because someone has done you wrong. You pick at it type of thing. Like, we don't realize the damage. And I think that's a lesson that I had to learn as well, that simply because someone has been open with their weaknesses and allows you and has been vulnerable, to you, you don't use those weaknesses now to hold on to and be bitter about things. Like, no, it's adulting, guys. Jolo and adulting.
But you're here now.
Yeah. And we are really share, like, it's nice, guys.
I have nothing to add on to that.
No, but for real.
Yeah,
right?
it
really is nice when it's done properly, and when it's like when you can be open about anything and just like be stupid together but also be serious together. But thank you for having this conversation and all the conversations, actually.
It's a pleasure.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Depending on what your definition of fun is.
Yeah.
It hasn't all been fun.
Yeah, but it's been fun doing it together. That's my point. They've been tough ones, but it's been nice doing it together.
Yeah, okay.
It definitely.
That's why I'm saying it depends on your definition of fun. But yeah,
guys, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye. Bye.